Security Out Podcast is proudly sponsored by Titans Arms. Head to the episode description and check out Titans Arms today. Tyler Heisey, welcome to Security Out Podcast. How's it going, brother?
Good, brother. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. It is remarkable to have you here. I've been following you for a long time in this world and in the space that we find ourselves. Being an advocate's great. It helps. Being a peer-to-peer support facilitator is awesome. We are still in the critical shortage of mental health professionals. So we need everybody in the fight. We need everybody to take care of themselves first, put their oxygen mask first, and then start helping out. But the big task is getting more veterans certified, trained on the other side, becoming practitioners, becoming doctors, and seeing somebody that has picked up that mission and has made it through that gauntlet. Man, that story needs to be shared, and we need to celebrate that because that is not an easy task. So today, man, we're going to dive into your story. We're going to dive into your service, everything you've done. But before we start, I'd like to proudly say that Security Out Podcast is sponsored by Titans Arms. So there you go. That's the intro roll, as we say. Thank you, Titans Arms, for backing us. It's an honor to be affiliated with you. And let's move forward now. Tyler, how's it going, man?
Good, brother. Good. Excellent way to start a Sunday morning, right before the gym.
Nice, dude. Heck yeah. Yeah. It's one of the things that we talk about is like being able to take care of the body too. It's one of the biggest things that can help us with our mental health. So yeah, dude, got to get after it.
Where would you like to dive into this?
Let's take it all the way back. How does a young boy find himself in the Marine Corps?
Oh man, John Wayne, San Iwo Jima got me when I was like 6 years old, and I just built my life around the Corps. I had my room growing up. I had all the decor on the backdrop, the ranks. Such a motivator.
Dude, I was going to guess. That it was an early movie like that. Your page, it just screams that era of watching it through the film. The animations, everything. It was like, dude, this has got to be influenced by those old World War II movies, the John Wayne movies. Yeah, the big JW, man. That's a big, it's either that or the promotional material. The Slaying of the Dragon, the Lava Monster. Oh, yeah. Marine Corps has the best recruitment ads. It almost got me.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. And I enjoy the 40s and 50s aesthetic, especially for like the stuff I push out, because we weren't there. We can't associate with that.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. But I was gun-ho, super young, worked my tail off, graduated a year early from high school just to go into the Corps. Yeah, no, it was dead set my mission.
Yeah. And what'd you find yourself enlisted as?
A rifleman.
Yeah.
Exactly what I wanted. ASVAB, didn't care, just had a pass.
Yeah, there's something to be said about that. A lot of guys that I meet are like, dude, all I wanted to do was be a rifleman. And some guys don't get the opportunity. They get talked to and doing a different job, but going in there and finally getting what you signed up for, like, what was it like?
Getting what
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't Call of Duty, I can say that. The running was not enjoyable. Sergeant John Stryker, the Duke's character, that's what I wanted. I wanted to be with those rowdy guys. And I always had the idea of like, I wanted to go serve. I'm a GWAT baby, so I wanted to go fight and get some revenge. And it was a culture shock for sure. I don't think anyone growing up is prepared for the service, regardless of what your job was or what you did. Going into the Corps, I mean, boot camp was shock and awe. Naturally, it is for all of us. And then checking into my first unit, I was out in 29 Palms. And
oh, man.
Yeah. But best place to start, because everything else after that is just the cherry on the cake. But no, I checked into 29 and we were just nose on the grindstone, prepping for tentatively Iraq. So our seniors just got back from Afghanistan and they're like, hey, we're going to Iraq. And it was just train. The tempo was through the roof.
Yeah. It's grueling, man. Those early years was not easy for anybody. Now, there's the idea of what deployment's going to be like. There's the the young man's hubris of like, I'm gonna be a war fighter. I'm gonna get valor awards. I'm gonna be the hero. I'm gonna be fighting these mythical Taliban and insurgents. And you hear all these words and you paint the picture of like this worst case scenario. You're on that tarmac, you're loading up, like, oh my God, here we go, we're getting here, and you're flying, and you have a pit stop here in Kuwait, which is like Tatooine. You're like, oh my God, it's finally here. Then you get there.
Yeah.
Dan,
Yeah. Yeah.
what was that like for you? Taking in that idea and meeting in the reality of what deployment really is like.
I'm grateful for the trajectory of my career in the sense that, like, my seniors are like, hey, you're going to go to Iraq, prepare to die, but you better take a handful with you before you go, drilling that into us. And we're pumped, we're ready to go. And for myself, I was fortunate to have 2 floats to the Pacific before I even went to the Middle East. So I've got this mindset of like, hell yeah, I'm going to get some or got some if I go. But at the same time, what the fuck, man? I want to deploy. This isn't a deployment. I'm out in the Pacific. At the same time, I'm a young buck. I met a lady. Got married way too fast. I was the guy that got I didn't get the Mustang, but I got the truck with the huge APR because I wanted that freedom. So I went through these 2 floats to the Pacific, having kids, itching for the fight, hearing all these stories from my seniors. And I'm like, this isn't enough for me. Like, I joined to fight, and that's what I want to do. So I'm going to re-enlist. So on my second time to Okinawa, I was talking to the career planner. I think that's what the word was. And I was like, hey, I want to go to Afghanistan. What do I have to do? I missed Iraq. I'm not getting out without doing this. He's like, yeah, no, we can get you to a victory unit. There's one down in Pendleton. I was like, sweet, when I get back, let me get down there. Let me PCS. And I moved down to Pendleton with the family when I got back, and they were already in the beginning of their workup. So I plugged right in. And I think it was 2-3 months before we deployed, and went to Kyrgyzstan for the layover, then went to Camp Leatherneck. And the Afghanistan was what and not what I expected. Because we see the movies, we see all the cool stuff. And then when the cool stuff happens, it's like, oh, okay, I'm actually like, this is the job. And it really, for myself, it challenged a lot of things within me, because a lot of us we grow up with whoever raises us, parents, grandparents, whoever, and we're taught what's right, what's wrong. If you steal, you get in trouble. Good things happen to good people, bad things happen to bad people. And having opportunities in Afghanistan, it challenged those values that I held. And with the natural work tempo that we have on a deployment, I'm trying to quickly assimilate this information into my headspace while being locked in as an NCO. And through the experiences that I had in Afghanistan, as you know, you've spent some time in Iraq, you're constantly locked in to go. Even if you're sitting up at the COC reading a book, you're still ready for it. And those 7 months were, I'll say that.
Yeah.
But it was everything I wanted and then some. I think that's the best way to capture the entire experience.
Yeah. And then on the backside of it, trying to make sense of it all when you come back.
Exactly.
As a husband, as a young husband, and dealing with a family. What was that journey like for you?
When I returned, oh man, Denny. When I got back to the unit, or when I got back to the States, when the unit got back, we had a few months of like downtime. So like I went to a school, and I noticed that there were some things that were different within myself, as well as like the new boot drop coming in. You got another generation of kids coming in. But my big thing was when I got back, my third one was in 2012, and I had one son at the time. I've got 3 kids now. When I got back, when I was going through the school, there was a lot of issues going on at home, arguing with the missus, not really with my kid, just still trying to be locked in to work, because Marine Corps comes first, not the family. And I went to the family readiness officer for our unit, and I was like, hey, I need to talk to someone for like couples counseling. I got a lot of things going on with the wife and I. And she linked me up with somebody, and I started talking to them, and they're like, hey, you should go to this part of the base. There's someone over here I want you to talk to. I think they can give you some additional support. I was like, yeah, okay, that's fine. Let's just make this quick. I got shit to do. And I ended up talking to that lady, and I don't remember the specifics, but she's like, hey, we need to actually schedule some time, you and I, to talk. I don't know if it's just the marriage component. And through the next like 3 to 4 months, I think it was, I was talking to her, and I was getting a lot of different appointments for different things for my headspace, which didn't make sense, to be blunt, because I wasn't a pussy. It didn't make sense. It's like, why am I talking about this shit? Like,
Cultural competency.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I did my job. Everything's fine. There's just something seriously wrong with her. I'm good to go. I'm locked in. And through these appointments, through some physical appointments, I ended up getting transferred to Wood Warrior Battalion because I was spending more time away from my unit than I was supposed to. And during my time at Wood Warrior Battalion, I was loaded with appointments, mental health appointments, physical appointments. And that's when I feel the levee started to break for myself, because they're forcing me to talk about all this different stuff. I had a social worker that was a Vietnam vet, which was awesome because he was able to breach that wall, because I was very stonewalled with a lot of different things. And what really clicked for me, one of my friends was a coach, and he was a civilian, and he did a lot of rock climbing. And one day I went rock climbing with his second, I guess, and the dude forgot to lock into the auto belay and he fell. He's okay now. He broke some lower extremities. But when that happened, though, like, I went for the radio. It's like, wait a minute. People come running out, and he's like, yo, Ty, come have a cigarette. I was like, why? He's like, come have a cigarette. And I walked over to the smoke pit and lit up I think it was Camel Blues at that time.
Nice.
Smoking a Camel Blue, and it just all started coming out.
Coming right back. Yeah.
And he's like, that's why you smoked a cigarette. And I think a few months later, I ended up getting out. And the big thing that I've emphasized with folks online, not professionally, I believed when I got out of the service, it was our responsibility as men, because this is how I was raised, to live the 1950s Americana lifestyle. You have a family, you've got 2 boys now, you need to take care of your family. I transitioned into working in a manufacturing plant. So live there, make sure they have everything that they need. That's how the end of my time in the Corps went.
Yeah. Man, there's a few things I want to unpack, man, because I think that you're touching on something that a lot of guys are still doing. The transition piece and not really unpacking and going through what they went through and going straight into that provider mindset. I got to go find a job. Obviously, for a lot of guys, contracting, high stress environments, trying to get the most money to support the family, they just keep pushing that experience, trauma, everything down because no, my man, I've got to provide and I don't need to deal with any of this shit. I just need to worry about getting that best paying job right now and going right into it. Going into that manufacturing job, did you see any of the, we often say that we hide behind the mask. Did you find yourself starting to see the fractures and starting to see a lot more come to the top, trying to live up to that expectation of that old 1950s reality of like, I'm just going to be the hardworking man, the provider, and focus on the provider part?
My thought process was, I'm going to strap this emotional flak jacket down because I don't have the time for this.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, who am I, Denny? I mean, you were in Iraq. You did so much more than me. I was just in Afghanistan for 1 deployment. I'm not a multiple pump chump. I'm not a Wagner that deployed 12 times. I deployed 1 time. Who am I to complain about anything? And I don't have time to complain about stuff because I'm being weak. And my seniors had it so much worse than me. Like,
Yeah.
that's ridiculous. Okay, yeah, I might be a little short fused, but I'm out of the core and no one believes in instant obedience to orders. And people ask, what the hell? And that was the double-edged sword that I dealt with, on top of the fact that as soon as I got out, one of my buddies called me and he's like, hey, so and so took his own life. And I'm like, oh damn. And then it just started like a snowball with people just dropping at the cyclic rate. And I'm like, oh Jesus, is it gonna happen to me? So naturally, I don't want to keep getting all these phone calls. So goodbye, military community. Get away. I'm not gonna associate with any of you because that brings back things I don't want to think about. That brings back things I wanted to do and I couldn't, and that brings back contacts on my phone that I can't text anymore. So I'm just gonna cut that part of my life out. And I'm going to focus on being an area manager and being a dad and being a husband. And I can't really connect with any of my employees because they're all nasty and they have no discipline and they're weak and they ask why. And like, I'm setting myself up so perfectly to be in this little cubby by myself, which is excellent for what I wanted to do. And I transitioned really well into the manufacturing role because I was in charge of people. The objectives were clear and I was able to know what I needed to do every single day. I could disseminate the information. I had team leaders again. It was good to go. And I was hitting numbers as quickly as I could. I was working a lot of hours. I was making money, way more money than I did in the core. So life's Gucci, essentially. And back in 2018, I was working a very interesting shift schedule: Monday, Tuesday night, Friday, Saturday day.
Phew.
Excellent for sleep, excellent for your body.
Bro,
Yeah, right? Yeah,
I just want to interject right now. That is horrible.
yeah,
Horrible.
yeah.
Shift work is some of the worst work for human beings. And I know a lot of you out there, you're working your ass off to make ends meet, to provide for your family. And you might be part of the midnight crew, but please know that your circadian rhythm, your sleep, like that shit's so important for your brain function. And man, like flip flopping. Holy shit, dude.
But at the same time, though, so what? I've got good old Monster to rely on. I got coffee.
Yeah.
I could slam a pot and jam out to Slipknot on the way into work. I'm still in the core. I can crush this. This is fine. I only need 2-3 hours of sleep. What are you talking about? I can order some nasty food. We're good to go. Because my family's having home cooked meals every day. That's what matters to me. I don't have time for any of that other stuff. And I was working a Monday night, and I don't remember which one in particular, but there was some song that was playing because we had music in my office, and somehow it hit me. Like I had like the big ick. I was like, what the fuck is that? And finish off the shift, and I wasn't feeling right. Like something was going on right here, and I don't understand what was happening. So I finished up Tuesday morning, probably got home like 8 o'clock. Walk inside, the missus like, how's it going? I sat down and just fell apart. She's like, what's going on? I was like, I don't know what's going on right now. This is ridiculous, but I'm going back to work. She's like, you don't work until. So she filled up the pot, took it, went back to work, checked back in. Day shift boss is like, what are you doing? I was like, I've just got some stuff on my head. I want to stay here, just work on some admin stuff. Are you cool with that? He's like, yeah, just go to your office. So I stayed there during the day, working on admin stuff. My people showed up that night, attacked the job as I'm supposed to. And then essentially for, I think it was about 3 months, and it's a blur. A lot of it was a blur. I was drinking on the job. I would leave work. I'd go to the bar. I'd get in fights. And there was 2 failed attempts and 1 interrupted attempt to throw in the towel because I just didn't know what was going on. And I was living in this hell. I was angry. I was depressed. I had the coulda, shoulda, wouldas going on. I would try to listen to certain songs to elicit emotions so I could cry. and feel something and work up the courage to take the nap at the same time, because I didn't know what to do. And the people that I was talking to, they kept talking about post-traumatic stress. They kept talking about depression, anxiety, the transition, family issues, sleep, health. Like, what? I'm a Marine. And through this entire process of just craziness, and I'm trying to be respectful to this podcast, and I'm trying to be mindful of the things I say due to my profession. But through that whirlwind, I somehow ended up at this program in Chicago that saved my life. And that program is called the Road Home Program. And I went there for 3 weeks, and we had group therapy, we had individual therapy, we had a bunch of different things going on. And during that last year, I had my daughter. So it was just boom, 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 constantly taking flack from something.
Yeah.
But I went through this program, and I had a solid baseline to go from. I didn't really know anything yet. I just knew what I was dealing with at the time, and I wanted to make the next step forward in my life.
Yeah. And those programs are more than lifesavers. Being able to walk out of one of those programs, for me, it was Laurel Ridge. It allows you to become a better sensor to save more lives. Being able to share that resource, being able to advocate for it. Because the one thing that we never give ourselves time is just time to be, time to reset, time to take a knee. I could not have done it. I could not have gone through my journey if I wasn't removed from my environment that was causing the chaos, causing the noise, causing me to be, unable to see the reality of the situation. I was dealing with a temporary problem, and there was a way out. There was a normal, safe pathway out of the conflict, out of the insanity that I was finding myself in. And I am so glad that you found your way out of the chaos and into a center. But on the backside of it, how did you continue to put one foot forward? That was a struggle that I thought that it was going to be easy peasy the moment you walked out, but it turns out you have to use the tools they give you. You have to start following. So it's one thing in a controlled environment, but in the real world, when the punches aren't being pulled, how did you go back? This episode is brought to you by Titan SARMs. Head on over to titansarms.com and buy a stack today. Use my code CDenny10 to get your first stack. I recommend the Lean Stack 2. Start living your best life. Titan SARMs. No junk, no bullshit, just results. How did you start living again?
I had to etch a sketch who I was. And pretty much right when I got out, divorce happened. So that was another frag in the hole. But I was able to begin to address the demons that I needed to address and get myself into a fighting position again. And when that happened, that experience alone is rough. I would consider that some little T trauma by itself, especially when there's kids involved. And when that happened, I moved back to my hometown, which was about an hour away. And the first thing I did, I was like, hey, I need to find a gym. I need to work out. And there was a gym that just opened. My mom told me about it. And I was like, yeah, let me go check it out. And went in there, met the owners, best friends with them to this day. And yeah, it's just the little wins. And through going through the divorce, I was working a sales job. I still needed to finish my bachelor's degree because I started that between like 2016 and 2017. And I had a pretty significant gap in between that. I was like, I need to finish this degree no matter what. So I was doing the sales job. I finished my bachelor's, which was small business management, which now in hindsight is great because I can apply that down the road.
Mm-hmm.
And then as I was doing the sales job, finishing the degree, I heard about another veteran organization, which is no longer in existence. And I went out to California to be a part of that one. And they talked a lot about the warrior cultures in society and how individuals throughout the cultures had different ways in which they healed If it was like, let's say, the Native Americans, the indigenous people using a sweat lodge, and everyone in the tribe would tend to them for as long as they needed to. We talked about all those different things and how to apply that community aspect to today for us and others. And after that, I started my master's degree in counseling for mental health. And at that point, like, my motivation for that one was through all of the experiences that I had in the service, good, bad, and different, from the falling on my own sword. I guess that's the best way to describe that. From all those experiences that I had, the amount of friends that I lost, not just overseas, but by themselves to suicide. I was like, I've worked with a lot of shitty therapists before. And a lot of people have. And a lot of people have. And I don't say that to rip on the profession. I say that for the cultural competency of the military community, which is service members, veterans, and their families, as well as competency working with trauma too. Because trauma is not a fucked up Starbucks order. But to some people, it can dismantle their day. And I'm not here to judge that, but trauma is very specific.
Yes, absolutely.
I was like, I want to start this path to give back to the community, to find a way to serve again, because I was not ready to get out of the service. I wanted to do 20 or die trying. I feel like a lot of people probably had that belief during GWAT. And as I was beginning the master's program, I got involved with another veteran organization, which was like an actual veteran organization. The other one was more mental health focused. I got involved with Patrol Base Abate. I don't know if you heard of that one.
I have, yeah. Yeah, they're doing remarkable things in the veteran space for a while now. Yeah. Shout out to those guys. I've been sending a lot of unsolicited emails and DMs their way.
Yeah, yeah. And when I connected with Tom, I stood up the Chicago chapter because there was only 4 chapters at the time. And through connecting with folks, I ended up running the Midwest. And then I ended up overseeing the entire nation, all the chapters for the nation.
No way.
Yeah. And with the opportunity to connect with folks all over the country, to have the opportunity to go out to a couple of the return to base programs up there in Montana, I was able to connect with a lot of different folks. I met a mental health provider that was out there just as like external support for other things. And I was like, yeah, I need to intersect these two for sure. Me wanting to be a clinician, serving the community. And eventually I stepped away because my academic tempo required it.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I finished up with PB Abate, and then I was able to do my clinical hours at the Road Home program. Yeah, full circle.
Nice. Full circle moment. I fucking love those.
Yeah, yeah. And it was pretty phenomenal to receive and then provide.
Yeah, and that's something that resonates with a lot of veterans. Shout out to you, Gage, good friend, Stoke Therapy. He's in the fight. He's currently in school. Remarkable human being, remarkable individual. And we have so many veterans out there. And the reason why it's important to advocate for this profession is advocating and advocating for things like doing your using your GI Bill, using your veteran benefits, the vocational rehab benefits, going back to school. If you have a passion for learning, for understanding how you can get better, because that's something that spoke to me. I dove into it because I wanted to know. I wanted to know more about it. If somebody is willing to sit down and get a degree in psychology and continue pushing forward, then I can do it too. And we have to advocate for this. Cultural competency is important. I have sat in front of other providers with pink and blue hair and tons of flash on their walls supporting every different group and everybody. And the moment we start talking, it's like you spent a lot of time learning and understanding every wonderful representation of every varied human being out there. But you're working at a VA center. You're working with veterans. and you can't talk to me or connect with me and bridge the divide. Like, how is it that we don't have that passion, that we don't have it? And when you sit in front of a veteran, somebody that's at least served, that knows the environment you're coming from, knows what you've done. And I don't care if it's a Vietnam veteran or, somebody that served in the Marine Corps or Navy, you have a common understanding, and you immediately are able to dive into the dance, into the rapport building, and it's easier. We need more veterans out there getting involved because it's going to help. It's a net positive.
I think it's also important to gracefully debate that statement too, in the sense that there's a lot of civilian clinicians that are phenomenal. And I'm not saying that in like a defending them sense. I say that in the sense like, yes, I'm a veteran. I have learned so many different things from folks that served that I know diddly about beforehand.
Yeah.
Because I've worked with, like, you're gonna have to explain to me what that job is, because I don't know what that means. And like if I'm working with someone from like the combat arms profession or someone that's deployed, like, yes, context building, it can be a lot quicker. However, what happened, what has come of that experience within yourself, if you know, and then with that, and like with all the hoopla about like PTSD, post-traumatic stress injury, whatever, based on what's going on, I might not understand diddly about you being a pilot in the Coast Guard, but I
Hmm.
understand what depression is. I understand how you tried to cope with it based on what you told me. So now let's conceptualize a patrol order to reach your objective.
Yeah. No, it does go back to the person, the human being in there, but it definitely helps for a lot of people that I met. A lot of the guys are still really deeply connected to what they did and only feeling comfortable that the ability to be vulnerable
which I
only comes.
feel, which I feel also like I respect that and understand that. But is that another sappy plate?
Yeah, yeah,
Like, are you able to remove that before your back goes? That's the thing, because, and I'm not saying that to challenge anybody, but if you didn't serve and if you didn't fight, you weren't shit, and I'm not talking to you.
yeah. And that's certainly something that I've seen in the echo chamber, the veteran echo chamber, which is like, we can't we can't help you unless you're willing to just drop a little bit of that. Be willing to get in the room. But it certainly helps those individuals when they have that veteran face that welcomes them. So say, I'm not gonna take your shit. I've been there. Let's talk. When you were going through your educational gauntlet, what kept you in the fight? Because it's not an easy road. It's not 2 years and you're done. It's a long haul. How did you stay motivated?
For one, I had this irrational fear that I would never go back to a blue collar job because of what happened. Just to be blunt, just to be blunt. I was like, man, if this doesn't work out and I go back to a factory, that's it.
I'm back. Spin up the monsters and coffee.
Yeah. Um, I had to remember my why. And
Yeah.
during the service, we do it for our brothers or sisters. For the downfall that I experienced, the why behind that was I'm dishonoring people and I'm a burden. Going through school, there's too many people that are struggling by themselves. There's too many barriers to care. And I want to start a ripple, even if it's transgenerational. And, excuse me, finishing my master's was only one of the steps. I have more steps I'm going to build my proficiency and competency and my reach in different types of buckets that support the community. And I think the why is a very important factor for folks. And especially when it relates to the subject of the transition out and losing that sense of purpose, I feel that is a dagger unto itself if we don't take the time to shift our fires accordingly for it. And besides the mental health struggles, when I look back on manufacturing, that was horrible. Not the way I want to live my life. And a lot of us naturally have to attend to our priorities like financial security, things like that. And it's very easy to walk into that kill zone of despair and unfulfillment if we rest on our laurels of what we're doing or who we were, and taking the time to ascertain, what am I good at? How can I make a living? How can I serve again? Who's in my corner? And how can I build upon all of that? I feel is something that all of us need to take time for some accountability for ourselves, because we're not just working a job or raising kids. Like, we're living our life. Like, my life comes before my kids. It has to, in order to be there for them. And I need to show up as an entire person and not the shell that I once was, to have that purpose in my life, to be a role model with children, with clinical care, with this conversation. And that was something that the therapeutic space was able to assist with, that sense of purpose, because I was always good at talking to people, even if I was cussing them out. And I loved helping people. I loved watching my Marines develop. I enjoyed developing myself through various stages in my life. And me choosing to take the therapeutic approach, for me, it lights me up more than when I was in the service. Absolutely.
That's awesome. Hell yeah. Now we mentioned a little bit, like when we're struggling, we tend to shy away from the people, the service members that we were with in our time in the military, just because we don't want to either relive or re-engage. Have you found yourself reaching back through the void and reconnecting now that you have tools and resources?
For myself, I would say connect with a handful of the guys that I served with, 4 or 5, and I don't need that part of my life anymore.
Hmm.
I do have my friends that I talk to. Like, after our podcast today, I got a coffee date with one of my buddies who's on the West Coast. We talk every now and then to see what's going on. I have a lot of connection with the veteran community and the active community through the social media and my job. And I feel it is important to diversify our social circles from
Yes.
who we served with, the community. I think I have more civilian friends now than I do military friends, which is fine because I don't hang my hat on being a Marine anymore. I'm a dad, I'm a therapist, those things.
Yeah. It's important to understand that your circle, your team room, it's broad on the outside. It has to incorporate everybody. It's many people you can get in there. It's not about just staying with the same platoon, same company, same detachment. It's growing, understanding that, dude, life's about living it with good people, not just people that you experience your early 20s with in Iraq or Afghanistan. They're amazing individuals, and bring them along as well. But expand that group, bring in more people. It's going to enrich your life. Like, I don't know where I would be if I didn't have the solid advice of some of my friends that never served, never spent a day in the military. And they're not only some of the more successful individuals that I know, but they're some of the best and more well-grounded individuals that are willing to dive in and reach out when I'm dealing with something. And they have some really good advice. So if you're listening and you don't have civilian friends, I mean, shit, you're civilian now too, so understand that as well. But if you don't have friends that haven't served, reach out to them. Build that community. They're some of the
And
best sounding. Yeah.
if you don't know how to find civilian friends, because that's come up before, figure out what you enjoy for a hobby, number one. If it's anything to do with your body, don't consider that a hobby. No, this is tough love, but it's needed. I know a lot of dudes and dudettes that crush it in the gym,
Yeah.
absolute units. But if that shoulder goes or that leg goes, you're you're in it now. So what else can you do? Can you go for a walk? Can you rock climb? Can you get into something weird? Can you get into going to a speakeasy and learning how to do the spin dance from the fees? Can you get into candle making? People do stupid shit, but they enjoy it. And
Photography.
yeah, I love photography. And that's the thing. And if you can find something that you enjoy, it's not you in your war room by yourself. If it's, let's say it's rock climbing, a lot of us do various physical things. If it's rock climbing, find a climbing gym. And then if you can build a schedule, because consistency is important in everything we do, you'll see some of those same faces. And then you can eventually strike up a conversation. And I've got friends in some of the weirdest little ways in my life. And they've provided me far more amazing insight than anyone that served. And we connected, we planted a seed on that one hobby, and then there grew the relationship.
Yeah, it's important to branch out and try things. Like I was always so hesitant to try golf, but what I realized was golf is one of the greatest tools in networking.
Yeah.
And I found myself saying no a lot to golf invites, saying no, 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 no. I don't play golf. I don't play golf. I don't play golf. Well, a long time ago, I didn't do any of this, and here I am doing it. So if you stop saying no and just start saying yes and start figuring it out, here, shameless plug, Sticks golf clubs, you can get a full set for under like $500. Great clubs, doesn't cost you that much. Check them out. I'm not going to give you a link because I don't have an affiliate link yet, but I'm telling you, give it a shot. I've looked back on my life and my professional life and within the last few years, and I look at all the times I said no to a golf tournament. It's over 50 times. And all the people, all the big names, all the people that I would have loved to have had on the show, some of them were at these golf tournaments. And I realized, like, holy shit, I could have been rubbing elbows with somebody that's like a big name that I would love to have had on the show, but I missed out on that. And it was because somebody saw value in me to bring 100% paid for. Like, literally, I've just been saying no to golf. And I've had enough. This episode is also brought to you by Precision Wellness Group. Getting your hormones optimized shouldn't be a difficult task, and Dr. Taylor Bosley has changed the game. Head on over to precisionwellnessgroup.com, enroll, and become a patient today. It literally just takes you having enough of missed out opportunities. Maybe it's not golf. Maybe it is rock climbing. Maybe it's going out there and learning how to do crafting, beer. That's a big popular thing. Stop saying no to life. Start saying, yeah, I'll try it. I got to set golf lesson because I fly out for a tournament next week.
There you go. There you go.
I bought the clubs, have tons of the equipment arriving. Thank you to Amazon. But I've never actually played. But I'm excited to be doing something new again, a beginner's mindset. Like we've had it for a long time. We didn't know it. It was just being that good guy in that team, being that good guy in the platoon, just being open and willing to try something new. And that can be said for a lot of things, especially therapy. And on that note, there's a lot of modalities out there. There's a lot of things for us to try when we're trying to get better. What are some of the things that you are excited about or you've enjoyed learning about, like EMDR, anything like that that you've seen in your journey that it's like, man, like this is really helpful?
My first experience with the EMDR was not good, but I experienced it later on. EMDR is beneficial. I'm not trained in that one,
Mm-hmm.
but I know a lot of people have benefited from it. For myself and like what I do, CPT, cognitive processing therapy. And I know that one gets a lot of heat because sometimes people are like, so you're telling clients that they're wrong. And the way I explain it, especially to my clients, is every experience we have is like going to the movie theater, and the movie is the experience. We attach meaning to what happens. And a lot of the time, like for myself, when Avengers Infinity War came out, I was the smartest person on the planet and bought my ticket at the 11th hour. And I got to sit in the very front, far left seat. Awesome. If I could have abdominals right here, I would have been shredded. But I say that because of CPT. We experience something, let's go with and we form beliefs based off of what happened, the coulda, shoulda, wouldas.
Mm,
And when we do that, we are in that one seat, A1 up front. Through my conversations through CPT, I don't invalidate what happened or those beliefs, but I shine the light on like, hey, do you want to sit over there? You want to scoot one seat over? Is there another way we can look at this? Because CPT is very beneficial for trauma work. I do another one. It's called the Unified Protocol, and I use it with a lot of other issues, depression, anxiety, things like that. The UP is very much focused on the emotions themselves and what they are made up of, our thoughts, our physical sensations, and our behavioral urges. Because if you are angry, you get home, the kids trash the living room, and you're pissed off, you probably want to cuss them out or go to your office. Maybe. Through the UP, it's like, how can we identify those thoughts, those physical sensations, and those behavioral urges, and look at some alternate paths that you can take? Like, can you challenge that automatic thought you had? Like, instead of getting pissed at the wife, maybe she was busy or isn't feeling good. Or instead of yelling at the kids, maybe you can turn it into a game. You're still going to be angry, but you're teaching yourself next time that, hey, I don't have to blow my lid. DBT, that's a very popular one.
hmm
I've made a lot of posts through DBT skills. Acceptance and commitment therapy, that's another one. So I lead from the front with CPT and UP. I do a lot of the other two. But my thing is, for individuals that listen to this, don't worry about that yet. Find somebody, do a little speed dating, spend a few sessions with a clinician, make sure that they are being ethical in their work. They're not disclosing their life and all their issues.
mm,
Identify some goals because you need to know what you want to accomplish. I don't want to feel like shit. I want to improve my relationship. I don't want nightmares anymore. I want to live with the fact that Cole's no longer here. Whatever the case may be, come up with the goals, talk with them, build the report, plan out what the treatment can look like, and go for it. And if you don't like it, like I tell my clients all the time, I steer the ship, you row it. So as we're going through this, if it's not chiving with you, if you don't feel like you're getting results, let me know. Like, I'm here to support you with your goals. And if we need to shift, we can shift. Yeah. Yeah.
awesome. Well, now that you're finally in the space, it's taking you a long time to get here. What are you excited about? What's next in your life? What do you got brewing in the on the back burner or the front burner?
Well, I'm trying to grow my hair out, and that's going to take some time. I'm trying to do some acceptance and commitment that I look like a floozy now, but whatever.
No, dude, you got to go full 1980s detective cop. You got to let it go at the top and grow out the sides. Got to own it, man.
For me in my future, I'm really, really into cooking for a hobby because we need
Nice.
sustain. So I'm going to be incorporating that into my social media. And you're the first person I'm telling about it. And it's going to be an integration between mental health, food, and history of warrior cultures.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
Okay.
now it's public for the world.
That's
Yeah.
what, dude. That's wild. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's like, I enjoy history. When people come to my office, I always get the biggest eyes because I have a Greek helmet, a Roman helmet, a medieval helmet, a World War I helmet, and a World War II helmet. I've got a bunch of rocks and crystals because Mercury's in retrograde, obviously. I got a statue of Alexander the Great. Yeah. But people are always like, why do you have all this stuff? And I was like, because everything we're about to talk about, be it combat, sexual assaults, it's been around since the beginning. And with my love of history as a whole, why not make a dish that Alexander the Great ate in a reel, talking about what they did for mental health and then tying it to what we do now? That's people like
Yeah.
cooking meals, cooking
Yep.
videos, and mental health is a tough subject. It's been hard for me to grow my page. And So I want to do that. I'm trying to move closer to my job because my commute's pretty long. Eventually, I'm going to go for my third and final degree, a doctorate of some type, maybe clinical psychology. I'm thinking maybe PhD in counseling, education, and supervision. Um, I'm thinking about getting a master's in anthropology, the study of people, culture, and integrating that into mental health. Eventually, way down the road, maybe, I would like to be a mobile shrink,
Oh,
travel. And I can't disclose anything about that right now, just because people are going to steal my idea if I say it.
no. Let's see. We will not discuss that. Don't steal ideas,
Yeah.
people. Come on.
But no, I want to continue to build my competency. I would love to teach about mental health, either to aspiring clinicians or through the form of supervision, continue to develop my tradecraft in this profession, do what I can to fill a seat.
Absolutely, man. I think you're doing a wonderful job, and people people need to understand that social media can be a tool for good. It can certainly help break down that barrier and hesitancy to get help. I've noticed it. I never thought that a friggin' page that was dedicated to just my goofy ass show and poop and cum jokes would have the impact it's had and helping people get to help. People always ask, like, dude, like, why do you continue doing it? Like, you're 330 episodes in and fucking it's finally a decent thing, but come on, man, why do you keep doing this shit? I'm like, well, A, I love it. And two, when you check the emails and there's people in there saying, like, hey, man, I didn't even know this resource existed. I'm willing to do this. Or like, hey, thank you for talking about this. Like, I feel like I'm finally being heard. That's powerful enough to keep
Mm-hmm.
doing it.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
like, it'll change your life for the better when you realize that just being a good human being helps other people out there. So you get this 24/7 now, people. I'll do it. Continue doing it because
Yeah. Exactly.
you matter, and
Yeah.
I want more of you to stay in the fight.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what social media is. It's connectivity. It's
Yeah.
bettering your fellow human. That's why I run the Kevlar Therapist, because that's a page I wish I had years ago, because God, I don't know what I would be doing right now. And if I am able to provide resources, because I'm not going to work with anyone via social media, but I can provide resources for folks, and I can provide quick educational things about disorders, emotions, whatever, to breach that subject for that tough bravado guy or gal that is too tough for therapy. And it's like, wait, that's me.
Yep.
So
Man. Yeah, dude, I can't thank you enough for making the time on this wonderful Sunday, man. This is it's been an amazing episode and one that I've been waiting to have for a while now. And I can't thank you enough for coming, man. This has been amazing. Once again, please tell us where we can connect with you and check out your information and your wonderful reels.
if you want to read about my psychoeducation content and be upfront for the cooking videos when they do come, my page is called the Kevlar Therapist, and there's periods in between those. And that's it right now. I don't have the bandwidth for YouTube yet or anything
Yeah.
else.
Soon, though, someday soon, I hope, because that thing's going to go like wildfires, man. Gangbusters. What about a book? You got a book coming out anytime soon?
I actually wrote a rough draft of 3 different books, and they're not about me. They are about a Chicago veteran turned cop taking down the underbelly of this city.
Get the fuck out of here.
I don't have my story doesn't need its own book, but it's cool. It's cool. Yeah,
You're gonna
surprise,
drop this
right?
on me right as we're closing out. Damn it! All right, next we need to have you come back for that. Yeah, this sounds awesome, dude.
Oh, it's
Again,
so
man,
cool.
this has been a pleasure, brother. And a quick shout out to our sponsor, Titans Arms. Life's too short to sit on the sidelines. Get involved, get better, start feeling better. Go to the episode description right now. I'll wait. I'll go ahead and pause. Click those links. Check out Titans Arms today. Check out Tyler Heisey's page. And do me one more favor. Head on over to Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Leave us a review. If few comments or use the new text-in feature from Spotify and send me a message about what you think about this show. Tell me you like Tyler. Tell me you don't like my shirt. Tell me that you need some more graphics, maybe some more new swag, maybe wear one of my own shirts, or maybe you want to wear one of mine and go over to Security Halt podcast. Oh, yeah, securityhalt.com, not podcast. Yeah. Pick up some new merch. I've got a new website coming out. Should be launched by the time you get this episode. If not, give me a couple more weeks. I'm just one man, folks. I'm just one man trying to do all of this. Tyler, thank you so much for being here today. And to everybody listening, thank you guys. I truly appreciate it. And we'll see you all next time. Till then, take care.
Thanks, brother.
Boom. Security Out Podcast is proudly sponsored by Titans Arms. Head to the episode description and check out Titans Arms today.